Good evening, everyone. I hope y'all are doing well. We finally have our winter storm starting to impact the southeast tonight, and so we're going to start off with the 48-hour snowfall accumulation, and this is from the National Weather Service. So, starting off here in the southeast, we have some accumulations into Georgia, possible around 3, 5, even 6, maybe 7 inches up here in northeast Georgia, but Atlanta now calling for at least a couple inches to maybe 3 inches in some areas, and then all the way down into South Carolina, central South Carolina. Those areas could see 6, 7, even maybe 8 inches in isolated areas, and even along the coastline as well. Down here to Georgia, up here into South Carolina, at least a couple inches possible there. And then as you can see, 4, maybe 5 inches there. Into northeast South Carolina, then kind of moving back over here towards Tennessee, even northeast Alabama could see a dusting of snow between really late tonight and very early tomorrow morning. And then up here into Tennessee, we'll get to that in just a moment. And then also here you can see that huge footprint of snow over North Carolina that are calling for from the National Weather Service. So we'll go ahead and move on up to the Mid-Atlantic sector now. So first off, we'll kind of start to the west and move to the east here. So starting off with Tennessee, we already have some snow falling tonight, but still at least 2, 3, even 4 inches possible along really into the eastern sections of Tennessee and eastern, really southeastern Kentucky, western Virginia, and then into the higher peaks in the North Carolina and Tennessee mountains. You could easily see 7, 8, 9, 10 inches there, probably up to a foot in some areas where you have kind of back end snow from this system. So moving on to the east here into North Carolina and South Carolina, once again, the foothills could see 4 or 5 inches, maybe 6 inches in some areas. And then as we get further east towards the central Carolinas, those areas could see well into 6, 7, 8 inches of snow. And then as we go further east, kind of towards the coast, and really east central North Carolina could see up to a foot. And then as we get to the Outer Banks, some of these areas could easily see in the northeast Outer Banks, maybe 9, 10 inches of snow. In some of these isolated areas, there's 11, I believe that's 11.5 showing up there. And then we have plenty of snow here into the southeast, into southeast North Carolina. And then as we go into Virginia here, especially into western Virginia, maybe 2, 3, 4 inches along the NC and Virginia border. West Virginia as well could see really southwest. West Virginia could see maybe an inch or 2, and then a dusting beyond that, and that kind of light gray color all around those areas there. And then into Maryland as well, really southeast Maryland. Those areas could see maybe 2, 3, 4, and even some isolated 5, 6, 7, 8 inches into southeast Virginia, 7, 8 inches possible there. Then kind of up along the eastern seaboard, maybe a dusting in some of these extreme areas into Delaware, maybe an inch or so there. Then as we go up into New Jersey, maybe a dusting on the coastline. And then into maybe New York City, those areas could maybe see a dusting, but especially as we get to southeast Massachusetts, those areas could see at least maybe 2, 3, 4 inches, and I would not be surprised if we see 6 or 7 inches in the isolated most southeast areas of Massachusetts. So now we're going to take a quick look at just really maybe a couple models, mainly looking at the HRRR, since this is a pretty close scenario here. We're pretty close to this happening, and so we already have some snow falling across Tennessee, even into southeast Kentucky, far western Virginia, southwest West Virginia, and into North Carolina, as you can see there, into Bristol, Beckley, Knoxville, as we get into about 11 p.m. tonight. And then as we go further into about 2 a.m. tomorrow, on Saturday, we have that band starting to increase a little bit further, kind of to the south and west, and a pretty strong area of snow into eastern Tennessee by about 3 a.m. Then as we go into about 5 a.m., we have this pretty large band here, and then we have our coastal low pressure starting to pop off some snow into southeast North Carolina by once again about 5 a.m. And the HRRR wants to show a little bit of ice getting into these areas, and even though it may fall as ice, or even if it shows up as sleet, it's going to freeze on impact. It's going to be plenty cold enough across these areas. And we'll back this up a little bit for southeast North Carolina, since I mainly talked about up there towards the Tennessee, North Carolina line. But as we get to about 1 a.m. tomorrow morning on Saturday, still maybe some light snow across southeast North Carolina, northeast South Carolina. Then as we progress that until about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. tomorrow, we have some pretty heavy snow across really southwest Virginia into North Carolina, especially into upstate South Carolina, even up here into northern Georgia, even northeast Alabama could see some light snow once again from this. As we go to about 7, 8, 9 a.m., we have this pretty large band here still. This is our band associated with that upper level low and our surface low pressure way out here into the Atlantic off the coast of the southeast, delivering some snow here into the Outer Banks in eastern North Carolina. And as we go, let me zoom this out a little bit here so y'all can see it a little better. We'll go into about 10, 11 a.m. tomorrow. Still some heavy snow falling across North Carolina, South Carolina, Rock Hill, all the way to Anderson, South Carolina, Asheville, Hickory, up to Greensboro, and then even some pretty heavy snow falling out here towards the Outer Banks right into there as we go to about 11 a.m. tomorrow. We zoom this out a little bit further. We'll back that up a little bit. I did not mean to go that far. But as we go to about 12 o'clock tomorrow, 12 p.m. into 1 p.m., that band is going to continue to move kind of eastward, and still some heavy snow can continue to fall across eastern North Carolina up into Virginia. That starts to get a little bit stronger there. And then maybe some ice and sleet mixing into this on the SRRR, showing up into Georgia and then into South Carolina. But once again, it'll be plenty cold enough at the surface, and this will freeze upon impact. And as we go to about 1 or 2 o'clock tomorrow, Atlanta could see some heavy snow, and then maybe some light snow showers behind that as we go to about 3 and 4 p.m., but nothing too heavy besides that 12 to 1 p.m. Time frame. But as we go further into about 5 p.m. tomorrow, we have some snow reaching all the way down here almost to the Florida-Georgia line as we go to, once again, 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on Saturday, and some heavy snow getting going here into eastern North Carolina. And the one thing that I want to continue to watch about tomorrow is this kind of draw slot showing up here into really east central North Carolina. So I think this could be definitely possible. Some of these areas could not quite achieve what they are forecasted to receive as far as snow goes, but still heavy snow will continue to fall across these areas, and that will amp up quite a bit by about 8 o'clock tomorrow. As we go into 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night, still snow is falling all the way from Greenville down here to Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Jacksonville, getting some heavy snow. Norfolk, Virginia, getting some pretty heavy snow as we go to 10, 11 p.m. tomorrow. As we go into about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Sunday morning, still heavy snow here is falling, and probably some pretty gusty winds blowing that snow around into the eastern Carolinas. As we go further into about 5, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Sunday, still some heavy snow falling across the Outer Banks. We go in about 8, 9, 10, and eventually about 11 a.m. Sunday, the HRRR finally moves that snow out of those areas. If you look up farther to the north here, we'll take a quick look at Massachusetts on the HRRR, and it doesn't really deliver too much to Massachusetts, but I'll show y'all the GFS model here in just a little bit. It does show a little snow here, and this is just a little too far out in the HRRR's range, so I do believe there's going to be some snow, especially in the southeast areas of Massachusetts. Another story with this storm is going to be the high winds. So starting off here just in the southeast, you could see some 30, even 40 mile per hour wind gusts into Georgia, especially southern Alabama, even the panhandle of Florida. Look up here into southeastern Louisiana, 40 mile per hour wind gusts possible there. Still even up into Tennessee, even Mississippi, northern Georgia, 20, 30 mile per hour wind gusts possible there within the next 24 hours. And then as we look at North Carolina and South Carolina and Tennessee, especially the higher peaks, could see easily 40, 50, maybe even 60 mile per hour wind gust. And up along the Appalachians, those areas could see 20, 30 mile per hour wind gust. And then even into the eastern Carolinas, specifically into the Outer Banks, into North Carolina, those areas could easily see 50, maybe even 60 mile per hour wind gust over the next 24 hours. So heavy snow is going to be falling in those areas with those high wind gusts, and it'll be very hard to see in those conditions, and you'll just have snow blowing around everywhere. And even up into Virginia, into Maryland, into even Delaware, those areas could see 20, even maybe 30 mile per hour wind gusts in isolated areas over the next 24 hours. So lastly, we'll take a look at the GFS here. And so this is just going to show our system moving on up. So as we get into Sunday morning, about 4 a.m., 7 a.m., then into 10 a.m., we see a little bit of snow making its way into southeast Massachusetts here by 7 a.m. Sunday. I think that's where you're going to see the main event for southeast Massachusetts. And then as we go up into Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, this low pressure continues to move on up to the northeast. It eventually gets into Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. It continues on up to the northeast and affects them once we get into Monday afternoon and evening. And then finally by Tuesday, this thing is starting to move on up to the northeast, and that is going to be the wrap up for our system. So I appreciate all of y'all watching. I know this is kind of a quick update, but most of this is getting ready to occur or already occurring. So I figured I'd just make a quick update for y'all, but I appreciate all the support, and I hope y'all have a great weekend.